YouTube, we are back. Today, we are probably gonna fit this lift into two different sections of the day. So I got about 30 minutes right now. I'm just finished up a parent group. We got 30 minutes to lift right now. So I'm gonna stretch out just briefly and go right into some touch and go snatches. Then I have a podcast. I'm actually hopping on somebody else's podcast today. I'm super excited. I'm not sure if this YouTube video or that podcast episode will drop first, but super excited to talk on someone else's podcast. And then I'm gonna come back, finish up whatever part of this lift I wasn't able to finish before the kiddos get here this afternoon. So pretty packed day, but excited to get after it. Right now I'm just doing like a half kneeling hip flexor stretch, couch stretch, foot up on the bench, shifting forward. My hips are feeling pretty darn tight today. But yeah, so I've been doing Olympic lifts ever since I started Will Rattel's program, his Haas concurrent program on Train Heroic, because honestly, I just needed to change up my training and be not, I don't want to say like challenged, like training's always challenging and I just love training. It's my favorite thing to do. Like it's my favorite hobby, which I'm thankful for because a lot of people don't like training. And if you don't like training, it makes it so much tougher to do. Like if you hate showing up, one of my biggest recommendations to people that are trying to figure out how to like get in better shape, get back into training or like do any sort of training, find something that you actually enjoy doing. Because I'll tell you, like, if you like it, the chances of you continuing to do it, or at least do it more often, are just like so much higher. So when people are like, oh, like I used to do like CrossFit and I freaking hated it. Like I ended up with 3 injuries, whatever it may be, nothing against CrossFit, but just example. I got a bunch of injuries. I'm like, okay, well, have you tried just like, I don't know, small group, like strength training? Or maybe you're gonna really like a yoga class or Pilates, or maybe you wanna do like TRX work. And there's so many different programs out there that you can buy and do on your own at a super affordable price. Like I've gone through so many. I did Tim Riley's cheat code, absolutely loved it. Such a fun program. I did Jake Tura's hypertrophy cluster protocol multiple times. I mean, that took like, I spent like a year doing all that stuff from Jake Tura. I spent a year doing Ryan Fisher's full body aesthetics program. Awesome. I was doing 4 full body lifts a week with that. But yeah, I want to try something different. And honestly, I'm really bad at Olympic lifts, cleans, snatches, jerks. So it's been like really fun for me to have something to practice and work on that's just completely out of the normal for me. And I catch myself now like watching just tons of videos on like cleans and snatches because it's a skill. I'm trying to progress the skill. So tons of fun. But yeah, when you see my form, obviously don't be hating too hard because you boys got a long ways to go. So I did my couch stretch. I did a little bit of a groin stretch. Did a pigeon stretch right here. Yeah. All right, so getting warmed up right now. Like I said, I'm not very good at these, and I don't know how touch and go they'll be because when you're doing touch and go snatches, you're going from the ground, snatch, catching overhead, then I'm supposed to like control on the way back down, but immediately go into the next rep for 3 reps. And I don't really have the skill or technique yet. So I'm keeping the weight light and just doing my best to do 3 snatches and not take forever in between. But the touch and go isn't quite something that I have down yet. Something we've been talking about a lot lately is the frequency of training with our athletes in the gym. So we have anywhere from like the ages of 12 to say 12 to 18 primarily. We got kids in college who come back that are 20, 21, 22. But I used to think that 2 to 3 days a week was like perfect. It's really good. I wouldn't go less. If you're going 1 day a week, you're going to be sore all the time. And if you're sore all the time, you're going to be like really discouraged with weightlifting, because obviously if you like every time you show up, you leave here, your body's hurting, you go to practice, you can't get through a swim set, or you can't get through a polo practice or a basketball practice without just like freaking nagging soreness. It's the worst. But we switched over to a membership system almost 2 years ago where kids can train as much as they want throughout the month. And we have a lot of kids that go 3 or 4 days a week now. And at that age, when your training age is 0, like you're just starting training, or maybe you've been here for 6 months, a year, the progress you make showing up more frequently is insane. Like you forget, newbie gains are so real. When you start off, you're gonna get better at the skill of lifting, and you're gonna be able to make progress so much quicker. You're teaching kids to split squat and dumbbell bench press and do real push-ups and chin-ups and rows for the first time. And as they get better with form, they're just gonna start to build strength. So as long as you're maintaining good technique, I think now I'm a huge proponent of 3 or 4 training sessions a week. As long as the coach is monitoring the stimulus, the input, that way the adaptation can be what you want it to be. You're never overworking. You're giving them just enough to make progress, not so much that they're spinning their wheels, they're sore, they're overworking, they're tired at practice. Like you can see pretty quickly if a kid's too tired throughout the day, you're either doing too much or they're just not able to recover enough. Maybe they're not eating well, they're not sleeping well. But yeah, 3 to 4 days, money. We even have kids that go 5 days a week and see incredible progress. That's a little side tangent. Set number 2. Fell off balance there. Ooh, lost my balance on the first rep there for sure. Second 2 didn't feel too bad. And just like working on sitting deep at the beginning, my first pull being smooth and controlled into my second pull, keeping the bar in tight. I know sometimes I let the bar get away from me. Snatches are so fun. There's so much more to think about with the Olympic lifts than when you're just doing some heavy pushing, pulling, just the standard foundational strength movements. They're incredible, and they're the base of my training. But this is just like so fun. Makes you think. So over the weekend and earlier this week, my knees were bugging me a little bit, probably because of the spike in Olympic lifting that I've been doing for the past 3 or 4 weeks. And sometimes I catch myself like, okay, what would I tell an athlete who came to me with this issue if the top of their knees were kind of bugging them a little bit? I was like, oh, of course, I'd ISO. And I preach ISOs on Instagram all the time. I mean, we use them constantly in our athlete programming. It's just one of those things. It's like, do as I say, not as I do, because sometimes I'll forget how important and beneficial they are, and I'll leave them out of my program for a little bit. But anyways, point I'm getting at, yesterday I went to the gym and just did ISOs. I did a deficit push-up ISO to open up my chest, and then I did like 5 sets of 30 to 45 seconds in a ISO lunge position with a barbell, and my legs feel really good today. Of course, there's tons of factors that play into that, but point being, ISOs almost always make me feel better, make my tendons feel better, my joints feel better, improves my mobility, leaves my legs feeling good for the next day. So like when my shoulders are feeling really tight and bugging me, I go to dead hangs, I go to deficit push-ups. I'll do like a chest fly where I just lay with some dumbbells on the bench and open up my chest, hold it for a really long duration. For legs, I love Copenhagen's, I love ISO lunges, I love wall sits. They always make my knees and hips feel better. So I'll definitely be doing those ISO lunges a lot more now, especially with how much I'm cleaning and snatching, to try to keep my legs feeling as good as possible. Ready? Set number 3. got to keep the bar closer to my body, and I got to actually drop underneath it, finish strong in a power position here. Clean these things up a little bit. Going a little bit heavier on this set. Gonna try to. This should be my last one of the day. Ooh, not great. Finish strong here. I'll take that. When it comes to building lower body strength, rear foot elevated split squats are freaking insane, like top-notch movement. I do them with dumbbells, I do them with bar. I couldn't say I prefer one over the other. It's just like, we'll do blocks of each. But yeah, like sometimes I will say, if they're irritating your knee, good thing to look at is the height of what you're putting your foot on. Sometimes when I put my foot up on a bench, causes a little bit more irritation in my knee, like my hip extensors, hip flexors. If I go a little bit lower, and these split squat stands are awesome. This is actually made by Titan. I've used Soren X ones, various other brands. Feels much smoother for me, so you just put your shoelaces on top of it. This is gonna be my first working set. Played each side, so 135. 8's a lot of reps. Yee! Dude, 8 freaking feels like cardio sometimes. Good Lord. Gather myself. Here's the weak leg. Oh, wow. We're gonna add a 5 for the second set, see how this goes. Pink clips are my favorite. Ooh, dude, one set into my legs are feeling it. When you haven't been spending time in like the 8 rep range, it is humbling. So different than hitting sets of 3, 4, 5 reps. Get it going. I'm gonna start left leg in front again. I might have to re-rack it between legs. Give myself a moment to reset. That actually felt smoother than the first set. I want the quality of my reps to stay high on the second leg. So I'm gonna take about 30 seconds in between here, get my breath back. Probably means I need to up the cardio, more assault bike, more swimming. I've actually been enjoying running a little bit, but I know that bugs my knees sometimes. Alrighty, enough yapping, let's roll. Alrighty, one more set. We'll take the 5 off, put a 10 on, hit 155 for this last set. Something that took me way too long to learn or understand is that working sets and warm-up sets are completely different. And so today's split squat set is 3 sets of 8 each leg. That does not mean the second I start, from the first time I touch the bar, that's set 1. Like, that's not how working sets and warm-up sets go. And as you get stronger, I might take more warm-up sets. So for example, I did this set with just the bar. Then I did another set with 25 on each side. I didn't even do 8 reps. Like, it was just a warm-up set. Did 5 reps each side. Then I put 45 on each side. Did 2 reps to get a feel for it. Then my 4th set was my first working set. And I did my set of 8. Then I load up a little bit heavier, another set of 8. Now I'm on my last set. And so whatever the compound movement is, it's super important that you differentiate between working sets and warm-up sets. If you see in a program that it says 3 sets of 5, that doesn't mean your very first set is the first set you do. Like, that's not always how it goes. Now, maybe if you're super warmed up, or it's like later in the lift, and you've already done some legs and you're going on to RDLs, and it's like, okay, yeah, my legs are good. Maybe you'll be able to start your first working set the first time you pick up the weight. But usually there's at least 1 or 2 warm-up sets, and for bigger movements, it could be 2, 3 warm-up sets, 4 warm-up sets. Then when you're feeling good and you have a significant weight on the bar, that is the beginning of your working sets. And so if you want to get more out of your training, start there, do your warm-up sets, get to your working weight, then your working sets take place. Last set here. Please move smooth. Alrighty, 3 by 5. I already did some warm up. I'm going to jump right into 205. Well, not jump right in. I warmed up, but 205 for 5 reps. Just a brief pause at the chest. All right, this is the second working set. Went up to 225 because last set honestly felt super smooth. Sometimes I wish that I spent more time doing legs when I was younger and not benching. Bench is like the one thing I can stop doing for a while, come back and like regain pretty quick. Not that this is like any crazy weight, but just in comparison to the rest of my lifts, my bench is definitely a little bit stronger than most things for me. Last set, best set. Gotta have a little bit better pause on my first couple of reps. I was too quick last set. Strong finish though. Done with bench. Kids are gonna walk in like a minute. So it's gonna be a 3-part lift. I'm gonna finish up with the razor curls for my hamstrings at some point today. All right, back to the lift for the 3rd time today. So this morning after my parent group, I got to hit the touch and go snatches. Then I went and did a podcast. It was awesome. Came back and did the rear foot elevated split squats, Bulgarian split squats with a barbell and some pause bench. Now the last thing today, they're called razor curls, and I'm set up right here. Kind of a makeshift setup because I don't have a Nordic. We have the GHD. I've done them on that and I like how they feel in the GHD machine. You can get like pretty good control. But I saw Will use a setup like this where you just put your heels underneath the dumbbell rack. So I'm gonna give this a go. I'm driving my heels up into the dumbbell rack. Now the razor curl, it's not a Nordic. I'm gonna hinge, kind of bend at the waist, keep my face really close to the ground and try to control it as I move out. So down low. As you can tell, I'm not good at these. The demonstration I watched, it's like hips are up in the air, face is super close to the ground, perfect control as he works his way out. I'm nowhere near that, but I will say that using the dumbbell rack, I do like a lot more than the GHD machine. Like that was a really nice set. For me, it felt great. I could really feel my hamstrings doing the work. A few things I'm thinking about when I'm doing these. I'm driving my heels really hard as I move out up into the dumbbell rack, trying to stay slow, controlled, and really feel the hamstrings as I move my way out. Now, I lose control before I even get towards the end. So I kind of like use my hands to catch myself, and then I'm not pulling myself. Like I'm trying to pull back up a little bit, but there's no way I could do that without the help of my upper body. Would love to get to the point that my hamstrings are strong enough to be doing Nordic hamstring curls. It's definitely a big weak point for me. One thing I kind of liked today about breaking the lift into 3 separate chunks, the snatches, split squats and bench, and now the hamstring curls, like I was excited the whole day when I finished a portion of the lift and then I had like something I had to go do. I was like excited to come back and train again. So like, I'm always, like I was saying earlier, I'm always excited to train. Like training is one of my favorite things to do. So the fact that I basically got to do it 3 times today, when I would typically, if I did the session just as one, when I finish, it's like, okay, waiting till tomorrow to train. But being able to look forward to training 3 times in one day was pretty cool. So like microdosing, basically it's the same idea, like just doing smaller sessions. And I do think too that like I come back, like I had a pretty good sized lunch like an hour and a half ago. So like that refuel, like I came back to this portion and even though they don't look that great, I'm probably getting higher quality reps now with these razor curls than I would have got if I did them, not too long after I did the Bulgarian split squats. So that little bit of rest kind of helps out and I get higher quality reps as well. So just something to think about. Last set here. They're getting tough. Yeah, quality really starts to go, wow. Whew. So that's it today, guys. My 3-part lift. Snatches felt pretty good. They're getting better for sure. The Bulgarians and the bench press, solid. I'm super happy with how they went. Those razor curls, it was great to try something new with the dumbbell rack. I also got a new mic, so I hope the sound quality on this video sounds a lot better, but something that I want to do going forward, if you have questions about anything, training, business, life, sports, swim, water polo, whatever, leave them in my YouTube comments if you're watching these, and I'm going to start answering questions throughout videos in more of a long form setting, obviously. So like instead of just giving you a quick reply, I just can't stand on Instagram how like if I do a Q&A and I ask questions or I let people ask questions, my replies have to be like pretty quick in an Instagram story, and I can give like much more in-depth, well thought out answers here hopefully. So if you got questions, ask them. And while I'm training or posting videos, I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability because I really want to help out. Like, subscribe, share with a friend, man. I appreciate it. See you next time.